crochet lovers, and welcome to my channel Spaß mit Faden. Today I want to show you how I've crocheted those lovely little slippers for toddlers. As you can see, they've turned out very beautiful and cute, and my slippers do have those two ribbons with which I can close them up very beautifully. You can actually crochet your slippers as a crochet beginner as well, because they're basically made out of single crochets and chains. Before we now start with the instructions, please make sure to subscribe my channel to support me, and I now want to show you how we want to crochet those little lovely slippers. I've crocheted my slippers for a child in between 1.5 and 2 years, and the width of the sole of my slippers is 12 centimeters and the height are 8 centimeters. I've crocheted my slippers with a 3mm hook, and if you want to crochet bigger slippers, you can of course use a 3.5mm hook as well. Today I've chosen this lovely yarn, and it is a cotton yarn. I've used of my cotton yarn for both of my slippers 60 grams. I also prepared one yarn needle and some scissors, and as you can see, I've got two little ladybugs here. They are actually buttons that I just want to sew up at the finished slippers, and I really do hope that you enjoy the instructions now. I want to start to crochet my slippers now by creating a slip knot first. Into that slip knot I now want to insert my hook and pull my slip knot tight. I want to start crocheting chains now. For a chain I always want to yarn over and pull my yarn through the loop on my hook. This was my first chain, my second, third, fourth and my fifth chain, and please just crochet chains. We want to crochet 47 chains in total. Now that I've crocheted my 47 chains, I want to crochet one row with single crochets. I want to insert my hook now in this very first chain, yarn over and pull my yarn through, and I've got 2 loops on my hook. For a single crochet I want to yarn over one more time and pull my yarn through those 2 loops on my hook. This was now my very first single crochet. I go on with my following chain. I want to insert my hook in it, yarn over and pull my yarn through, and I've got 2 loops on my hook again. I want to yarn over and pull this yarn now through those 2 loops on my hook. This was now my second single crochet. And what I want to do now in this very first round is to just crochet into each chain 1 single crochet. At the end of your chains, you'll then have crocheted in total 46 single crochets. I've just completed to crochet my very first row with my single crochets. Into my last chain here, I've crocheted my single crochet number 46. And what I want to do now is to just turn my work around and start with my second row. We don't want to crochet any chains before we turn it around. We just want to turn our work around and go to that very first stitch here and crochet our first single crochet for our second row. Then I want to continue with the following stitch and crochet my second single crochet for my second row. And what I want to do now is to crochet in total 12 rows with single crochets, and in each row we want to crochet 46 single crochets. So this is now my second row with my single crochets. Once I've crocheted in my second row my 46 single crochets, I just want to crochet 10 more rows. So in total I will have done 12 rows with 46 single crochets in each. And once you've completed this, we want to meet up again. Just keep in mind that we don't want to crochet any chains before we turn our work around and start with a new row. As you can see, my work is not so far right now, but I wanted to tell you that you please count in each row your single crochets. In my second row, I've now crocheted 45 single crochets. Because of this, I know that I also have to insert my hook on the edge here as well and crochet my single crochet number 46. So please just make sure to always grab the stitch on the edge as well. And as I said, we now want to crochet 12 rows in total with 46 single crochets in each. And once you finish with your 12th row, I'll show you how we want to continue. I've now completed to crochet my 12 rows with my 46 single crochets in each row, and my work looks just like this right now. I now want to turn my work around again after my 12th row, and I want to start row number 13 by just crocheting 13 single crochets. So this is my very first single crochet, my second single crochet, and my third single crochet. Please just crochet for the beginning of round number 13 your 13 single crochets, and then we'll meet up again. I've just completed my 13 single crochets for the beginning of row number 13. What I want to do now is to crochet those 20 following stitches as invisible decreases. What we want to do now is to make out of those 20 following stitches 10 stitches by crocheting invisible decreases. So my goal is now to crochet those 2 stitches that are following together to 1. So I want to insert my hook on top of that very first stitch, yarn over and pull my yarn through. And as you can see, I've got now 2 loops on my hook, and I just want to leave those 2 loops on my hook now. I want to insert my hook in it, and then I want to yarn over and pull my yarn through. And as you can see, I've got now 3 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn now through those 3 loops. So what we've done now is to work 1 invisible decrease. We've crocheted those 2 stitches together to 1. I want to show it one more time. I want to insert my hook into the following stitch, yarn over and pull my yarn through. And I want to do the same thing with the following stitch as well. I've got 3 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn now through those 3 loops. And this was now my second invisible decrease. We want to crochet in total 10 invisible decreases. Please just crochet your invisible decreases, and once you've crocheted 10 of them, we'll meet up again. I've just completed to crochet my 10th invisible decrease, and after that I want to close up row number 13 by crocheting single crochets till the end of my row. We should now have in total 13 single crochets left, and we just want to continue to crochet our single crochets to complete row number 13. We then want to start row number 14 by just turning our whole work around and crochet 1 simple row with basic single crochets. And once you've completed your following round as well, we'll meet up again, and I want to show you how we crochet row number 15. I'm now nearly at the end of round number 14, and I've crocheted so far 35 single crochets. I've got 1 last stitch left here exactly on the edge, and I want to insert my hook in it and crochet to complete round number 14 my 36 single crochet. Now I want to turn around again my work, and we want to start row number 15 again with 13 single crochets. So I just want to grab this very first stitch and crochet my first single crochet. This is my second single crochet, number 3, 4, my 5th single crochet, my 6th, 7th, 8, my 9th single crochet, and number 10, 11, and 12. And now I'm already at my very last single crochet, number 13. And what we want to do now in round number 15 is to crochet again invisible decreases. This will be the last time where we want to crochet invisible decreases. In row number 15, we now want to crochet the following 10 stitches together as 5 stitches with invisible decreases. So for my very first invisible decrease, I now want to insert my hook into the following stitch, yarn over and pull my yarn out again, and I've got 2 loops on my hook. I just want to leave them there and go to my next stitch. I want to yarn over and pull my yarn again through, and as you can see, I've got now 3 loops on my hook. And for my very first invisible decrease, I now want to yarn over and pull my yarn through those 3 loops on my hook. I want to continue to crochet invisible decreases. As I said, it should be 5 in total. So I just want to go on with my second invisible decrease. This is already my 3rd invisible decrease, my 4th invisible decrease, and my 5th and last invisible decrease. And what we want to do now to complete row number 15 is to crochet on top of each following stitch 1 basic single crochet. We should now have to crochet 13 single crochets again to complete round number 15. And once you've crocheted your 13 single crochets and completed round number 15, please already start for the beginning of round number 16, 13 single crochets again, and then we'll meet up again. I've now completed row number 15, and for the beginning of my 16th row, I've already crocheted 13 single crochets. So after my 13th single crochets, I now want to start to crochet my first ribbon. And for this, I want to chain 23 chains. So this is my first chain, my second, third, fourth and my fifth chain, and please just crochet chains, and once you completed your 23 chains, we'll meet up again. We started row number 16 now by crocheting our 13 single crochets again, and after our 13 single crochets, we just chain 23 chains. What I want to do now for my ribbon is to skip this very first chain and go to my second one from the hook and crochet my first single crochet into it, because what we want to do now is to crochet in each of those chains one single crochet, and once you completed your chains, you'll then have crocheted 22 single crochets. I've just crocheted into each chain one single crochet for my ribbon, and I've now completed my ribbon with 22 single crochets. What I want to do now is to complete row number 16 by turning this whole thing around. We started our row number 16 with our 13 single crochets, and after I've crocheted my ribbon, I just want to turn my work around and crochet again my 13 single crochets back. So I don't want to crochet into the following stitches on the other side. What I've done is to turn this whole thing around, and I want to crochet now 13 single crochets again. My very first single crochet, I now want to crochet into this very first stitch, and I want to go on with my first single crochet. This is my second and my third single crochet, and please just continue till you're at the very end of your row, again your 13 single crochets. And what we want to do now to start row number 17 is to crochet again 13 single crochets till we're again at our ribbon, and then I want to show you what we want to do to continue. So what I've done now is to crochet again my single crochets. I've crocheted now 12 single crochets, and I'm nearly at my ribbon again. I now want to crochet my 13th single crochet, and after that I want to continue to crochet in each stitch of my ribbon my single crochets again. So this is my first and my second single crochets. Until the end of my ribbon I should have now 22 single crochets, and once I've crocheted my 22 single crochets, I want to chain one, cut my yarn off. Please take care that you leave enough yarn to sew up your end later, and I want to pull this yarn then through my chain that I've crocheted. And then I want to show you how we want to crochet our second ribbon on the other side as well. So please just continue to crochet your single crochets, and once you've crocheted your 22 single crochets, chain one, cut your yarn off, and we meet up again then. We now completed the very first side and our first ribbon. The last thing that I've crocheted was my ribbon with my 22 single crochets, and after my 22 single crochets I chained one, cut my yarn off, and I just hided the end of my yarn inside of my ribbon. What we want to do now is to crochet a second ribbon on the other side as well, but first we have to insert our yarn. I want to start now this row again with 13 single crochets, and because we never chained one on the edges, I have to insert my yarn now underneath this very first stitch on the edge. So what I want to do now is to just insert my hook underneath this very first stitch on my edge like this. I just want to grab up some of those loops, and now that I've inserted my hook, I want to yarn over and just pull my yarn now through those stitches on my hook. And now that I've inserted my yarn again, I want to chain one and turn my whole work around. And we now can crochet our very first stitch here on the edge as our first single crochet. Then I want to go on with my second stitch and crochet my second single crochet, and we want to crochet again 13 single crochets. So please just crochet your 13 single crochets, and then we'll meet up again. I just completed to crochet my 13 single crochets on the other side as well. And what I want to do now is to crochet my second ribbon. So after my 13 single crochet, I now want to chain 23 chains again. This is my third, fourth, and my 5th chain. Please just continue to crochet your 23 chains again, and then you want to crochet into the 2nd chain from your hook your very first single crochet again, and you want to crochet in each of those chains 1 single crochet again. When you're again here, you should then have crocheted your 22 single crochets, and I want to show you then how we want to continue to crochet. I just crocheted in each stitch of my ribbon again 1 single crochet, and I've crocheted 22 single crochets now in total. What I want to do now is to just turn the work around again, and I want to crochet those 13 single crochets back. So I want to insert my hook again on this very first stitch and crochet my first single crochet. This is my 2nd single crochet and my 3rd single crochet, and I will complete this round now again with 13 single crochets. I want to show you how you can finish it now. What you want to do after you've crocheted your 13 single crochets is to turn your work around and crochet again 13 single crochets till you're at your 2nd ribbon again. And then you want to crochet in each stitch of this ribbon 1 single crochet again, and once you're up here you want to crochet your last single crochet again into the very last stitch, and then you want to chain 1, cut your yarn off and hide the end of your yarn again inside of your ribbon. Once you've done with that, I want to show you how we want to close this whole thing up to a pretty little shoe. Now that we crocheted our 2nd ribbon as well, we want to close this whole thing up now to a little shoe. So what I would recommend you is to look which of your sides is looking prettier and just fold the pretty side in the inside. As you can see, both of my sides are looking exact the same. So what I want to do now is to just fold this up together, and all we want to do now is to sew up those edge and this edge as well, and our little shoe will be completed. Please just cut up 30 centimeters of your yarn. This will be enough to sew up our ends, and I want to show you now how we want to start to close up our edges and sew them up. Our slipper looks like this right now, and we just have to sew up now this end and the sole of our slipper. So what I want to do is to turn this whole thing around. There I've got my sole, and I just want to pick up my yarn needle now. I want to insert my yarn needle now on this very first stitch here on the edge on the front, and I want to do the same thing in the back as well, and then I want to pull my yarn needle through those 2 stitches, and I just want to pull my yarn through till I'm nearly at the end of my yarn. This yarn end I want to sew up later, and now my wool is coming from the back. Because of this, I want to insert my yarn needle now on the following stitch in the back as well and grab the front stitch. Now I just want to pull my yarn through again. We always want to insert our yarn needle from the side where our yarn is coming and grab the next stitch. And we want to do it with the back stitch then as well. And I now want to close up my edges with my yarn needle like this. All we have to do now is to sew up this edge and then continue with the sole of our slipper. And once you've completed to sew up the sole as well, and you're here at the end, please just sew up the end of your yarn and cut it through. And then I want to show you how we want to turn this whole thing around and how our slipper turned out. Now that I sewed up this edge and the sole of my slipper, the whole thing looks like this right now. I also sewed up all of my yarn ends on this side, and what we have to do now is to just turn our slipper around. I just want to flip the inside out, as you can see. And our slipper is now finished. What I want to do now is to just add 1 ladybug, and then I want to show you our finished result. My slippers look like this right now. Of course, I've crocheted a 2nd slipper as well, and I've used those 2 ribbons to close it up. And as you can see, they've turned out very beautiful and cute. And if you do have now as beautiful little slippers for your toddlers as I have, please make sure to subscribe this channel and like and comment this video. And I really do hope that we'll see each other the next time again.